Good evening and welcome to our YouTube channel, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Tonight we have episode 21 of Horror on the Orient Express with myself as the GM. Jeff, would you please give us a recap of the last episode?
Our last episode started on Monday, January 22nd, 1923, aboard the Orient Express. We were joined by our old friend Anselm Vigo, a member of the Arcane Society. Vigo is a young man who is a photojournalist, originally born in Italy, but now living in Massachusetts. And of course, he's also currently traveling on the Orient Express. Our group arrives in Milan, Italy, on time, which I think was 4:30. The train station is in shambles, as if a bomb had gone off. The skies are cloudy, brownish color. The group is staying in a central square with a very large church with ornate spires. The hotel is just above a cafe called Beefy's. Just off the plaza is also the opera house known as La Scala. Previously, we had met the famous opera singer named Caterina Cavallaro, and she invited us to attend her opening night opera titled Aida. That's this coming Wednesday night. Upon settling in, we soon learned that the entire city is very worried about the famous opera singer, because she has apparently gone missing. She was last seen at the train station, having been picked up in an Alfa Romeo. Our group of investigators start to ask around in an attempt to locate Caterina. The next morning, we set up a plan for the day. We visit the train station to talk to the porters, thinking maybe they had seen something during the diva's disappearance. Other than seeing the car, they were not able to offer much information. They were able to point us in the direction of the diva's house, though. We visited the house and spoke with the housekeeper, Isabel. Again, not a lot of new information was given, except that another rival maestro seems to be interested in her. Next, we drove back to the opera house. We headed around to the back of the opera house, where things are busy and bustling because of the preparation of the big show tomorrow night. Vigo manages to befriend the guy, Marco, guarding the back door. He grants us access to the stage area to talk with the stage manager, Paolo. The stage manager mentions something about a curse, but it's really more of a superstition about a string of bad luck around a show. He tells us it's mostly in the costumery. Costumery?
Costumery.
But that lately it seems to have moved down to the main stage area. We take our leave of the stage manager to make our way up to the costumery, and that brings us up to date. That's where we stopped.
Excellent. So as I recall, you were given directions on going up to the costumery, which you try to follow, and like I say, the place is built like a maze. But as you get up to the third floor and start to make your way around, it's actually a lot nicer than it is downstairs, because there's not so many people up here, and they're not moving sets around and everything, so it's kind of a welcome relief from the craziness going on down below. You cross a few intersections, and you're not quite sure if you were supposed to turn or not, but ultimately you see a door, and the door has the word costumery written on it. So it's not closed all the way, it's like partly open. What do you guys want to do?
I knock.
Okay.
Hello?
You hear hola, or I don't know. Bonjour, or no, what do they say in Italy?
Buongiorno.
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 Oh.
How are you then?
When you open up the door,
Yeah.
let me describe it. The room isn't very big. I'd say it's actually not much bigger than one of the cars on your train. Maybe about 20 feet wide and much longer. It's got all along one side. It's got tables and sewing machines. And the room is packed all around with rolls of fabric and baubles and fringe and all sorts of things. there are 3 little tiny old ladies dressed in black, and one is on a sewing machine sewing something furiously, and one is working on a costume, and one is getting some materials, and the other one, there's a 4th woman, and she looks much younger, and she's sitting on the other side of them at a slanted desk with a little light over it, and she's drawing, looks like she's designing something for the costume and smoking a cigarette. The room is cold, it's chilly, and there are, I would say, 6 costumes that they are putting the final touches on, the baubles. They're all Egyptian-looking costumes, which is what Aida said in ancient Egypt. So one of the little old lady who's closest to the door, she says in Italian, she says, yes. Now the other women look at you for a moment, but they're busy, so they go back to their work. So the little old lady's like, yeah. Yes, what do you want?
Well, we were just speaking to the stage manager downstairs. What was his name, gentlemen? Mel told him.
Paolo.
Paolo, yeah. It was
Yes.
all in Italian. I just couldn't understand.
Yeah, we were just speaking with him, and he tells me that you have an unfortunate situation up here, and we happen to be experienced in matters of courses. And we were wondering if you could spare us a few moments. I know your time is very precious and very valuable, but just a few moments to discuss sort of what's going on up here.
Well, she tells you, you come inside and just don't fiddle with anything.
Oh,
and
would never dare.
You notice the younger woman.
Mm-hmm.
She looks up from what she's doing, and she gets up and she says she says something in Italian, but Vigo, you understand it. She says to the old woman who's talking to you, Jacobella, you need to finish that thing on the costume there. And she looks at you and she says, what can I do for you?
As I was telling to Catabella was her name?
Jacobella, but it's Jacobella.
Jacobella. Well, as I was telling to Jacobella, we were just speaking with the stage manager downstairs, and he tells me that you lot have had something of a unfortunate series of events to happen here. He used the word curse. And we happen to be experienced in such matters, and we were wondering to find out what's going on up here.
She's like, are you with the press?
No, we are decidedly not.
And she says, well, it's common knowledge here that they had a long string of unfortunate events. They couldn't keep a designer in this department for more than a couple of months. But I've been here now 4 months, and I don't seem to be suffering at all from what they talked about.
What did they talk?
Well, some of the ladies would get, there was all different things, but it was, one lady got tuberculosis. One lady got, let's see, I got my list. One lady got caught pneumonia. Of course, it's always chilly in here. And she sort of gestures when she says that, she sort of gestures at the other end of the room. And then she says, they've suffered from asthma and appendicitis and cramps and back pain. And nobody lasts more than a couple of months, and then they have to leave. But I seem fine. Go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Okay.
Actually, since you're talking, let
All right.
Frank, you can do it.
Yeah, I was actually
You
curious.
guys, I assume, are just sort of looking around in the room.
Yeah, you mentioned the chili, and I was going to ask you if I could look around and see, is there an open window? Ooh, there's a good way to start the game. 07.
Nice.
Oh, that's really good. What you can see now, the room, like I say, is pretty packed, and you are kind of surprised that it's chilly in here because there's so much cloth and drapery and stuff that's in here that it kind of muffles up the room. But you can see at the far end there is a door, and there is sunlight coming through a crack in the door, and the door is cracked open about that much. So the winter chill outside is what's coming through the door. And that must be a door to the outside.
We're like 2 or 3 stories up, right?
3 stories up, yeah.
3 stories.
So she explains to you these things, and the old women also chime in with some other little tidbits that, some were as simple as people breaking out with a rash, on their skin, on their chest, on their back. It just seemed to be that some of them would start coughing as soon as they got here, and we thought maybe it was musty, but
and
of course they kind of cross themselves because they believe it's a curse.
Just out of curiosity, have you been using any unusual fabrics, any unusual props, anything that may have been seen as authentic?
Well,
I'll offer the lady a cigarette as I say that.
Well, she's already smoking a cigarette. So.
Well, when she runs low.
Okay. She says, no, not really. Wayne, did you have something you were going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to basically, as they're talking, I guess they're talking in Italian, so I can't really understand, so
right.
Never mind.
Well, we'll you know what, Jeff brought this up last time. Let's assume that everything said in Italian is translated by Vigo and told to you guys. So
okay.
You can all just act as if you speak. You're understanding the language.
Okay. So I ask about her name is Catalina, the diva.
Caterina?
Caterina.
And when you do, the old women are just like, oh, it's horrible, it's horrible. She's missing, and they point over to the wall, and of course there is a picture of Caterina Cavallaro with flowers all around it and a little candle burning. And they say that after they get off tonight, they're planning on going to the church and saying a prayer vigil for her, and they hope that nothing bad has happened to her. And
would you have noticed if she was followed? I mean, I understand that there's a lot of admirers, but has she ever been followed? Have you ever seen someone that might have been hanging around the theater, maybe after hours? Somebody that might have looked suspicious or unsavory?
They don't know anything about that at all.
Okay.
One of them says that Arietta, and one of the other ladies, Arietta is the one who deals with Caterina the most because she works on her costumes. But she's always a very lovely, very pleasant person, and not like some divas that treat the staff like they're garbage. Caterina's always a very lovely person.
Yeah,
and she hopes that nothing happened to her.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, and I'll let them know that we briefly met on the train, and she came across as a very genuine and nice person. She invited us to see her performance tonight and
tomorrow night,
and we got to our hotel, and we started hearing that she is missing. So, you're right. Hopefully, nothing bad happened to her, but we're looking into it to see if she's okay, and to actually deliver her here so that she can perform and everybody can have a good time.
And all 3 old ladies are just like, oh, please bring her back. Please, if you find her, bring her back to us. The opera's just not the same.
Hey, Tom.
Uh-huh.
Could I roll an occult roll? Because all the things that they're listing, I mean, this doesn't seem, to me at least, it doesn't seem natural. I mean, yes, you have to assume that conditions aren't particularly great, but I mean, they're taking care of themselves clearly, right? They're not like malnourished or anything like that.
No, the little old ladies are old and bent over, and actually all of them are probably under like 4 foot or 5'2". They're small women, but that's kind of typical in a country like this. However, they're kind of plump. The young one is not. She's actually quite lovely. Yeah, you can do an occult roll.
Okay.
And
let's see. Let's see. 1d100. As my dice. Try. Oh, damn! 15! Ah!
There we go.
Alright, out of 45, so we're good.
The
Hard.
way I'm going to say this is it doesn't really have anything to do with the occult.
Okay.
But it occurs to you that all of the maladies that they mention have to do with one part of your body.
But even the rashes are isolated to like the torso or the arms or something like that?
They're consumption, the lungs, the back, the chest, the back, the stomach. It's all in the torso.
Okay.
And when you think that, you notice that there are 6 of them in the room with costumes on. They're mannequins, or they're forms with clothes on them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And I kind of whisper this individually to my fellow party members. Yeah, I think
We're all on the same page.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. I know me and Frank we're always on the same page.
Yeah, it seems that way.
And Eldridge, also as you're whispering that in your ear, you realize that your left arm hurts a little bit. It's sore.
Oh no! Cause I have it. Oh, I thought I slept wrong. Oh, you liar. Okay, so I kind of grip my left arm. Being in an opera house, which is like one of the most horrifying places for myself. I'm already feeling anxious, but now I'm feeling even more anxious, but I'm trying to keep that down. But I do let everyone know that not only is it all isolated to the torso, and look at all the mannequins and blah blah blah, but my left arm hurts, and I'm the one holding onto the arm. The one we found in France.
Okay.
Well, Vigo is confused. You guys are like all on the same. Vigo just kind of looks at you and continues the conversation with the woman for a while, and then when it, like, let's see, Aldridge, yes.
Yep.
Are you doing anything like visible that we can see, like
a nervous tick?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's taken off his wedding ring and he's rubbing it like a coin.
Okay. I think thank you for your time. Hopefully nothing happens, and I think we can get some fresh air for a moment, and we can be in the hallway.
Okay. Well, for one moment, since Eldridge mentioned the clothing, while I'm in there and while everybody's doing their own personal single thing, you have these mannequins with the clothing on. I'm actually going to go ahead and start to examine it to see if there's any sort of dust or powder. I'm like trying to examine it for any sort of substance.
Okay, so there's 6 of them, and they have costumes draped on them. And one of the old ladies is working on a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
She's hand sewing some jewels, onto the pharaoh's costume or something like that. And when you come over, she says a couple of things to you, which Vigo translates, and that's that aren't these going to be spectacular for the show, and please don't touch,
And I say
they're made of silk.
Yeah, I just wanted to examine it to make sure that there isn't any sort of substance on it that might make you guys sick. Basically, you
go ahead and do a spot hidden.
Okay.
I have something too I'd like to do.
No, that's a 64. So no.
Okay. The dress form itself is kind of covered up, so you can't really see the form itself. At least for now. Anybody else?
Could I ask the woman that Vigo is speaking to? I didn't catch her name. The younger woman, I guess.
Her name is Luisa.
Luisa. I'd like to ask Luisa. She mentioned that she was chilly, and I noticed the door was ajar. If she wanted me to close it, or
oh yes, it's impossible to close. It's broken.
Could I take a look at it real quick? Do you mind?
Sure.
I'm just curious. I'm gonna just open it and just see. Why is there a door on the third floor going to the outside?
Okay. So you go over there, and you have to kind of step over some boxes and things. But when you get to the door, you see that the locking mechanism is kind of bent. The door itself is bent a little, and it won't close properly. And right outside is a fire escape going down to the ground.
Fire escape. Okay.
It's got it goes back and forth. There's 3 levels going down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bright sunny day outside, but it's it's kind of overcast, and but there's still plenty of light.
Mm-hmm.
It's the middle of the day.
And I'll give it a good effort to try and close it, but like you said, I understand.
Yeah, it catches on something that it won't close. And she says to you, just try to push up a box against it so that it doesn't swing open, but just to get it as close as you can. Yeah. And she says, besides, sometimes from what Rosa, and she points at the other old woman, what Rosa tells me, it used to get stifling hot in here with all of these clothes, and so maybe it's best that it is chilly.
Is there any oppressive smells at all?
Fabric.
Okay. Just
you smell fabric and glue and things like that.
Right.
And nothing's really musty. Now, you also notice that there aren't costumes hung up. There's just lots of fabric, and there's the 6 that they're working on. But there's not racks and racks of costumes.
So just to be clear, I'm not really familiar with this, but so the costumery is basically where they make the costumes. It's
make and repair and fix them, yeah.
It's not really like a changing room where people are coming in from the show and they run in.
No.
Right. Okay.
They would change downstairs in their changing rooms, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And changing rooms aren't what you think. The diva would get a changing room, and maybe the lead male would get a changing room, and the rest of them would just have a big long room with everybody taking their clothes off and putting on their costumes.
Mm-hmm. Big long mirror, lots of lights.
What do you want to do next? Now, well, let's just say, let's see, Dr. Thea, why don't you go ahead and do another spot hidden roll? Because I assume you're going to look at more than just the one.
Correct. All right, that's a 45. I made it. 45 out of 46.
Okay. You walk around and you're looking at them, and some of them you can see the dress form, and they look like they're made out of wood.
Sorry, was that all of them look like they're made out of wood?
Except for the one that she was working on, but after a few minutes, she starts to remove the costume from it, And it's also they're all six of them are made out of wood.
Hmm. I do have natural world. Can I guess roll a natural world to see what type of wood it might be?
Sure,
Like
but
is
I
it
don't think I know the answer. Boy, he rolled that one right off the screen.
You rolled it so good.
When he said he was going to roll, well, I'll tell him the answer when he gets back. But the answer is it just looks like it's made out of hickory or some kind of hardwood.
Okay.
But I'm going to add something to it. But I'll add it when he gets back. You guys have any questions? Anything more you want to say?
I know what we need to do. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I know. I can't be like, hey, ladies, everyone come out with me really quick. We got to go talk about something important.
Wayne, they're all made out of hickory.
hickory?
It's just a hardwood. And Jacobella starts saying something to Vigo, just blah 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 blah, but you don't understand what she's saying. But Vigo translates for you, and what she says is, she says, "These are all our new forms," and one of the other ladies, let's say Rosa, she says, and by new we mean they're about 6 years old.
Where did you get them from?
She says, well, they were bought for us at an auction in Paris by one of the producers for the show, and they actually bought us 7 of them, but the 7th one isn't up here anymore. They took it downstairs for some reason.
Okay.
And one of the old ladies is, she's like, I never liked that one anyway. It gave me the creeps.
Really?
But Arietta says, yes, but it seemed like every single time you tried to fit a costume on that one, the costume fit perfectly.
When did they move the statue downstairs?
They took it just last week.
Last week. Is that just downstairs in the basement?
Actually, I take that back. They took it about a month ago. And she says, I don't know what they did with it. They just took it downstairs for some reason.
So let me ask you, how was the environment in here once they took it away?
Well, Rosa says, I'm just glad that it's gone. And Jacobella's like, yeah, I didn't much care for that one either. You couldn't stick pins in it. It wasn't very good, but like I say, it was good at fitting things. And one says it was also it was made out of ceramic or something. It wasn't made out of wood.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much.
Okay.
You wouldn't happen to know where they took that thing. Did they destroy it?
No idea.
Okay.
Maybe they threw it away. I don't know.
Well,
Runs downstairs.
Well, let me ask you this: why did they take it away? Did they ever tell you
Don't
why?
know. They just came and took it.
Okay. Well,
Who exactly came and took it?
They just sent up a stagehand to grab it.
Ah.
okay.
Mark.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Do you remember which stagehand?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe it was your buddy Marco, because it was probably heavy.
No, Marco never leaves the door.
Oh, he's just the door guy.
But maybe Paulo knows. He may have asked to send someone up. Or maybe he knows where it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So thank you, ladies, and well, I'll step outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
if they allow me to, I'll, kiss their hands like a proper gentleman would, and say it was a pleasure meeting you ladies. You guys do fine work.
And they thank you and wish you good afternoon, and they go back to working.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Next. Okay, so you guys are going to head back down?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to ask them what everyone seems to be clued in on that Vigo is completely lost on.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, would you like to inform Vigo of
So-
all the shit?
I
So,
feel like I just walked into the middle of the picture show.
yes, you did. So I'll try to give you the long story short. So we're tasked with finding this pieces of the statue. The statue is what we believe is cursed in some way or another. We've already found the left arm. I think it was the left arm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Eldritch has. And in one of the previous episodes, one of the other characters was carrying around the arm, and the family that we got the arm from, they all had symptoms where their arm was, hurting or arthritis or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems as though whoever is carrying this around seems to take on these cursed ailments. So between everything that they said, that's basically we're looking for the center torso of the statue, and it sounds like that's what they're using it for the mannequin.
Ah. Thank you.
And we're going to have to figure out how to either change things around or so Eldritch doesn't suffer from this all by himself.
Yeah. What kind of feelings am I having in my arm? Is it like a stabbing pain, or is it like a burning rash? Like, can you kind of give me?
It's
it
feels like you slept on it wrong, just kind of a dead soreness, but it goes away. It comes and it goes.
Well, I have a feeling it's going to get worse. Go ahead, professor or doctor. You're a doctor. You're not a professor. You're a doctor.
I was gonna suggest that once we locate it, perhaps we can have Vigo, steal or borrow. I wouldn't say steal, but I would say procure maybe a stagehand's uniform or something like that, and we can carry it out. And if they're asking, well, what are you doing? Yeah, I was told to carry this out. Now, the rest of us could be waiting in the back alley, and if anybody's giving them trouble, we can rough them up a little bit and go off with the statue.
Are you just outside the costumery? Are you in the hallway, or where are you guys?
I think we're in the hall.
Yeah, we're in the hallway.
Okay. As you are standing there, from the direction that you originally came in, a couple of people come around the corner. Now, the first guy that comes around the corner is kind of a big, fat guy who instantly strikes you as a frickin' diva. Okay, because he is, and he's bitching at this shorter guy, and he's like, well, of course, what do you think I'm doing? I need to get my costume fitted properly, and he's just ranting at this other guy. And they're walking towards the costumery, obviously. And he doesn't pay attention to you until he's like right up to you. And he looks up and he's like, and who the hell are you?
Will the help?
And he says, the help. Well, please get out of my way. I want to. I need to put on my costume. And he looks at you, Vigo, and he's like, "You are a rather handsome man, yes?"
Yes. See.
He says.
Well, thank you.
He says, I think they might need you in the let's see, the actors department downstairs. We are going to be short a few soldiers. You look like you would be good on stage. Anyways, get the hell out of my way.
Oh, of course. Of course. I didn't happen to catch your name, Soul.
And he looks at you like, what the fuck?
Forgive me, I've been out of the country.
He glares at you. He glares at you and he says, I, sir, am Alberto Baptista de Franco. Like this. And his little guy next to him, he's like, see, Alberto Baptista de Franco. and he gives you a humph, and he goes into the costumery, and you hear him say, ladies, there's problems with my costume, and that slams the door.
And when the door slams, I will turn to my compatriots and say, gentlemen, I think I have a way to get around. Let's see if I can make some hay out of it. Hay? Why would you make hay out of it? Well, anyways, I'm gonna see if I can't make the best of what we've just been given. And go to the actors department and see if there's anything that I can spy down there.
And perhaps while he does that, we can continue our search for the diva.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be trying to. I'm gonna try to consciously memorize the layout of the opera house. I mean, like the direction that we're walking. Like, you know, we just came from the third door. She said downstairs. Like, what's below the downstairs?
Are you drawing a map?
No, not like. I'm not trying to memorize the entire thing. I'm just trying to remember like where we're going.
Right. Yeah. Just your basic.
Yeah.
Just. I do have this included here. Let's see. But it's not like you've got one in front of you.
Yeah. I guess I'm just trying to say I'm trying to pay attention is all.
Oh.
Yeah, and you're on the far right, up in the top left-hand corner. It says door opens to fire escape.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge complex, and actually, that's just a theater. The Prince's Palace is attached to it. There's all sorts of things attached. There's rooms where they practice, and all sorts of things going on there.
So where's the actual stage end? That's the large square rectangle?
The stage is the square. Yeah. If you look at the ground floor, the stage is the square, and all those little seats there in the middle.
Ah, right.
And then there's balconies all the way around, 3 stories of them going up.
Okay.
And you know what? Now that you're inside the theater, let me go ahead, and I'll show you what the theater actually looks like on the inside. This also shows you the outside, which I told you the outside's not much to look at.
Mm-hmm. I read that in the travel guide, too.
There you go. So that's the outside up at the top there, and that's obviously the inside at the bottom. It's spectacular.
Wow.
And that's the poster outside.
I have no real feelings towards this.
Stop lying. You know it's beautiful.
That's
you know,
Comet,
you know
Comet
there's
is beautiful.
there's a single tear falling from your eye.
That's actually a good point. So you've mentioned a few times about how you're reacting. Would we know why you're doing this, or does this seem unusual for you?
Well, I guess that just depends on. I never thought that we'd actually get to a point where this would come up, but I guess it just depends on the sort of relationship that Eldritch has with you guys. You guys can tell he doesn't want to go Wednesday. Like, he's trying everything in his power to get out of going to the opera on Wednesday. He does not want to go.
Okay.
We can say that after years of working with Eldritch, you know that he is not a fan of music.
Hmm.
Okay. Because I was getting the impression it was like just not a fan of people or crowds.
Well, I mean, He's good with people.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so good with people.
Your demeanor is just flowing.
Yeah. He's just so open. He's such an extrovert.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, no. So, what are you going to do? You're going to split up at this point?
I think so. Vigo suggested that he had an idea. Frank and I can continue to search for the diva, and Eldritch,
Well, I mean inside the inside the theater.
We're gonna like I was thinking that we're still gonna walk around and we're gonna talk to other people,
Okay.
see what we can find out. Meanwhile, since Eldritch is not feeling very well, maybe he can, I guess, leave and go.
Well, I don't want to make it sound worse than it is. His arm's just a little sore. It's not like the thing that you'd want to climb into bed for.
Well, not that, but we were originally discussing going to the library at some point,
Yeah.
and that seems to have been waylaid.
Well, we don't need the library now because we know where our artifact is.
Oh, that's the
Somewhere around
artifact.
here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We usually stop at the library, start doing some research of where it might be, but now that we have an idea, we don't need the library.
Okay, so what are you going to do now? At this point,
I think too. Just to be clear, I have very little interest in finding the diva. My interest now is finding the artifact. So.
Yeah.
But
it kind of.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I understand you too, and I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a feeling that her disappearance might have something to do with what we're into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what I think too. Is that how coincidental is it that the Opera House happens to have the torso, and the star of the show that's being played at the Opera House happens to disappear in a strange Alfa Romero.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't mind doing a bit more research on this play and where the origins of it came from.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it's set in ancient Egypt. There might be some occult references
Yes.
that we can look into.
Right. Yeah, I don't think
maybe.
we need to rule out the library at all, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So Vigo, what did you want to do?
I'm going to take my handsome mug to the Axel place and tell them that none other than Alberto, in short long name Heel, has recommended me for the part of mute soldier.
Soldier number 20.
Yeah, if I'm lucky, and hopefully be able to speak with some of the stagehands about the whereabouts of the mannequin.
Now, I do need to remind you of something.
Okay.
If Vigo goes one way and you guys go the other, you guys don't speak Italian.
All right.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Get it?
What we need is a universal translator.
And Spock appears, and here you go.
It's the earworm from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
There you go.
Yeah, we need that. Okay.
The Babelfish. Yeah.
Yeah, the Babelfish. Okay. Do we stay here at the Opera House then, or do we pull Vigo from acting in a play? And
Well, how about this? How long do you, well, it's going to take him a while. So how Vigo did say that there are people who speak English at the library, right?
Yeah.
So how about this? Why don't we head to the library and do a bit more research on this particular play? Meanwhile, let Vigo do his thing. We'll come back in here within an hour or so and see where it goes.
okay. Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Okay.
All right. So you make your way back downstairs, and about 30 seconds after Vigo asks somebody where the actors area is, and he goes that way, Marco comes up behind you three, and he's like, gentlemen, I've been asked to ask you to please. And he's very nice about it.
Oh,
He says they're very busy, and
we understand. We're actually leaving. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for helping us out so much.
and he doesn't seem to notice that one of you's missing. So he's seen so many people today, he probably just didn't count or anything. Okay. So
Okay.
he shows you to the back door and sends you off into the daytime.
Okay.
Vigo.
Could I have said ahead of time that we plan to meet Vigo back at the cafe whenever,
Sure.
like a central meeting place?
Do you want to give a time, or do you want to give like an hour or 2 hours or something?
Well, just I guess it's hard to. There's no telling. We have no idea how long it's going to take him to do what he needs to do. So
Yeah, but we'll be there.
yeah, that's basically like if
Okay.
we get split up, we'll meet at the cafe. Kind of thing.
Okay. Vigo.
Yes.
It's actually not quite as exciting as you imagined. You go downstairs, and there's a man who's got, once again, he's got a clipboard, and he's going down, and he's doing things, and he looks over at you, and he's like, what do you want?
Oh, I was just ran into Alberto. I give his full name. What was his
Baptista de Franco.
name?
Alberto Baptista de Franco.
Yes, and he said that you guys were short soldiers, and said that I had a handsome look to me that I may be able to assist
Yeah,
you.
he just interrupts you, and he's like, okay, supernumerary, what's your name? And he writes it down.
Vigo.
And
Handsome.
he's like, come with me. And there's like 3 or 4 other guys, and they're all being sort of fitted in Egyptian uniform, like they were Egyptian military uniform.
Mhm.
And he says, fine. And he says something like, they'll pay you 5 lira for the performance, and you just do what they tell you to do. Stand where they tell you to stand, and keep your mouth shut. Don't sing.
I wouldn't dream of it.
So he's kind of abrupt with you, but you're just nobody,
Yeah.
as far as he's concerned. And as you're standing there, you hear off in the distance some guy yelling, and you see the guy. Oh shit! DeFranco's up to his old tricks again, and he gets up and he walks out of the room, and you can tell that it's Baptista DeFranco yelling about something. So okay. And so they're fitting you. They just immediately, they don't even hardly talk to you. They just grab you. They stand you over here. They almost forcefully, abruptly help you to take your clothes off. Not completely. They actually strip you all the way down to your underwear, though, and start
Not
pinning.
even going to buy me a coffee first?
No. They're just gonna fit you for a costume. So do you have anything you want to ask them or say to them?
I'm going to ask. I was just upstairs with the fine ladies who make these costumes, and they said that one of their mannequins went missing. You guys know anything about that?
No, we don't know anything about that.
Know of anyone who may know anything about that?
It probably broke and they threw it away.
Oh, when do you guys usually throw your stuff away?
I don't know. We don't keep. We're too busy working here. We don't pay any attention.
Oh, fair enough. I don't mean to be a bother. I was told to keep my mouth shut, and I will keep my mouth shut.
And
I think it's okay, right? See?
yeah.
Right.
And your costumes are kind of simple, and they're not fitted perfectly. They weren't made for you. You're just a supernumerary, just an actor. So they fit you in your costume, and it takes only about 15 minutes.
Okay.
And then they tell you just stand there, and you stand there for maybe 10 minutes doing nothing. So you have an opportunity to chit-chat with the other supernumeraries. There's 4 or 5 of them, and the people who are working on the on fitting the costumes are far too busy. They're not chit-chatting at all.
I'll see if any of them are actual. If any of the other people playing the military parts, if they'll regulars here at the Playhouse, or if they'll just recent inductees like myself. So I'll try to make.
One of them is fairly new. This is the second thing that he's been in. The other 4 have been in numerous things. They think this is, frick, you get to be in an opera, and on one of the greatest stages in the world.
Well, I'll speak even to one of the more senior players then.
Okay.
And I'll approach him and just so how long have you been with the Playhouse, the opera here?
Well, one of the you're talking to one of the other, like you, the soldiers.
Yeah, one of the guy who has like the most experience on this stage. Like
he's been doing this for about 10 years, and he's played in all sorts of different operas. And he says that he thinks that he likes Verity's operas the best because they're pomp and circumstance. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and they're big, powerful shows, of stuff.
Well, do you have any tips? Like, I'm a little nervous. First time.
And he's like, to be honest, nobody's really looking at you. You're just window dressing. He says the first couple times that he did this, he had a freaking pillar in the way, and he was just there, and it's like he doubted that anybody could even see him. And he was just window dressing, and he stood there. And then the part, with it, the song finished, and they marched off the stage, and that was it. It was like 5 minutes on the stage for all of this.
Well, on the other side, you get to say that you were in a Verdi opera.
Yes,
and that must go very well with the ladies.
Yeah. Tell them I'm in the opera.
Yeah,
I think that's awesome. Of course, I don't invite them to come and see me in the opera.
Oh, of course not. Of course not.
They'll be like, I couldn't see you. Where were you? Oh, I was right there. Didn't you see me?
So you've been doing this for a decade now. What do you think about this course business that I hear the stage manager espousing?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you haven't heard about the course and the customary?
And he sort of rolls his eyes and he's like, I don't know, theaters, this isn't the only theater I've been in. And he says, they all have their ghosts. And about that time, somebody else comes in with a clipboard, and it's a lady, and she's just like, follow me. And you all just walk, and she takes you, and it's just off stage, and she shows you how to stand, 2, 2, 2, 2, and this is how you're going to walk, and then she marches you up onto the stage, and this is where you're going to stand. And she says, this is going to be the third scene in the opera. She says in the first scene, it's sort of the scene between Aida and Radames, who she's in love with, and then he goes off. Then she sings her aria about her regret that both her father and her lover are on opposite sides. And then we switch to Radames after he's been elected as the leader of the army, and that's where you come in. It's where they put on his armor, and you will come out on stage, and you're just soldiers. You're just going to stand there and let them do all the singing, and try to stay out of DeFranco's way. And one of them says he swings his arms a little too much.
Thank you for the tip.
And she shows, and then of course she shows you where you're going to stand, and she just says, there's no need to be nervous. You don't have to worry. You're just going to stand out there. You don't have to say anything or sing anything, and just look at him. He's where you're looking. And then after the scene, you're going to walk off stage. And she says, then stick around, because we might need you later for a different scene.
Of course.
Standing there.
Quick question. Is there an understudy for the diva?
Oh, yes. If the diva doesn't show up, then it's going to be... I had it written down. Where is it? Filomena de Martina is the understudy. And when she says that, she does two things. She sort of looks around to make sure that she's not there, and she gives you a like that.
No one can truly be a replacement for the diva.
And do you say that out loud?
I whisper it to him.
She says, she is the replacement for the diva.
What was that?
She is the replacement for the diva.
Yes, but no one can quite.
She understood. So anyways, after 5 more minutes, they get you out of the costumes and tell you to put your regular clothes back on and be here at 6 p.m., no later than 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
tomorrow night, because that's 2 hours before the show starts. And the reason why it's 2 hours is because you are not important. They are going to put your costumes on you when they get the chance. And it might be 2 minutes before the show, but it might be an hour before the show. And so you just got to be here ready to... And they're going to do some makeup on you and stuff like that to make sure you're not pasty.
And do I get this woman's name? The one who's dressing us?
It's all different people.
Yeah.
The lady with the clipboard who showed you where to stand is...
Who made the face?
Annabella.
Annabella. Okay. I'm going to become Annabella's new best friend when I come back. After I go to the cafe.
Okay.
That's
Although you get the impression she might not even remember who the hell you are.
I am Vigo. I can remind her gently. It's what I do.
So, only about 45 minutes has gone by, and you're free to leave. So, we'll say that that's probably what you're going to do. Unless, wait, I'll let you decide what you do, but let's go to the other people first.
Of course.
It's taken you about 15 minutes to get to the... You're going to the library?
Yeah.
Okay. I need to go to the library. Hold on. Good library.
I dare your Vigo to ask them where your dressing room is next time.
All right. What are you going to look up at the library?
So, I want to look up the actual history of this particular play, the lore behind it, if there's the original story of it, that sort of thing.
Let's see. What you find is Aida. It's an opera in 4 acts by Giuseppe Verdi. It was first performed in Egypt at the Opera House on December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1871. So it's not that old.
Okay.
Was conducted by Giovanni Bocchini. It's considered one of the best operas. It's been performed in the United States in New York at the Metropolitan Opera. It's not particularly based on any kind of story. It's a basic opera story, which all amount to a woman's in love with the man, and there's some horrible conflict. In this case, she's an Ethiopian princess, but because she was captured and enslaved, they think that she's just a slave girl. And her father is the king of Egypt, and he's fighting against the Egyptians, and she's fallen in love with the head of the Egyptian army. So, hence the song that she sang, that Caterina Cavallaro sang for you on the train, Ritorno Vincitore, Return Victorious, she's singing this both to her father and to her lover. And she's in conflict because they're both on opposite sides, and yet she loves both of them. But it's not really based on anything, and of course it all ends tragically at the end with everybody dying who's supposed to die, you know, the way most operas are. But it's not particularly. It's just Egyptian happens to be the theme that they created for it.
Okay.
The music sounds very Italian, not very.
Egyptian.
Not what you'd think for, not like a Cecil B. DeMille movie or anything like that.
Okay.
So,
anything else you'd like to look up?
Can I ask you something? You mentioned about the soldiers, and you used a word I'm just not familiar with. Supernumerary.
Supernumerary is anybody who's in an opera that doesn't sing; they're just window dressing.
Oh, okay.
I have a friend who was one.
Cool.
It was cool.
I'm going to try to look up something about the Sedefkar Scrolls.
Okay.
I mean, we're in a new city, a new library. I know we haven't been lucky in the past, but I'll give it a look.
Sure.
Go ahead and do a library roll. I need you to get like a hard.
That's not going to happen. Nope.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you don't find any reference about that.
Okay.
That actually sparked an idea for me, though. While he's looking that up, or trying to look that up, I will see if there's any sort of like history on maybe cults, maybe within the last 30 or 40 years in Italy, but in this area in particular.
Like in any library, there are numerous books on cults, but are you going to spend 5 days reading all of the literature and trying to find some particular... It's not like modern cults in Italy. You don't find anything like that. You find some interesting... Go ahead and do a more a spot hidden, and we'll see if I get this to you.
I got a 20. 20 out of 46.
Okay, as you're looking, you think, you know, there's supposedly this curse, and you already suspect what might be causing the curse. But when you're looking through some books and thumbing through them, you find, you know, myths and legends about the opera, especially in La Scala. And one of the interesting little pieces that you find is there's a legend, and the legend is if you sing along at the opera with the diva when she sings the first aria in the opera, if you do a really good job, if you actually could surpass her in singing, then you would get your fondest wish. And as a result, on opening night, a lot of people sing along with the opening aria of the diva, which in this case is the Ritorno Vincitore, the one that she sings, the one that she sang for you. But that's the only interesting little bit that you find.
All right.
Vigo, you have kind of guessed that they're probably at the library still, because it's only been 45 minutes.
Okay.
So
Now, as I leave, I bid my uncle good day. So I'll see you back here at 6.
he says, so you got a job as a supernumerary, huh?
Oh, yes. Apparently I have the look of a hardened soldier.
Well, good luck. Good luck. Don't drop your helmet. Don't drop your spear. Don't trip over anything and make a spectacle out of yourself.
It is an opera, not a comedy.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised at how many people want a little, even if it's like, you remember when that guy tripped and fell? He's famous from now on forevermore.
Famous or infamous?
Infamous, yeah. All right.
I will see you later, Monko. I have to catch up with my friends. Now we'll head off to the library under the supposition that they'll.
So I'll say that as you are finding that last piece of information, Dr. Theo, you see Vigo walk in the door of the library, and you guys see each other.
How'd it go?
Apparently, I'm a natural.
Always knew you had it in you.
Yes. Well, they do have an understudy for the part of the diva, in case the actual diva is not found in time for showtime. I am to report back at 6, and I have made a acquaintance of a woman named Annabella. She seems to be in some sort of directorial position, and I hope to get on her good graces when I go back, probably a little before 6, to show off my eagerness in front of her.
I see.
And find out where they are keeping this mannequin. Tom, is that the right word for it? It's mannequin?
Well, yeah. They would call it a dress form, or it's just a torso.
Yeah.
So that you can fit clothes on it.
Mm-hmm. And one of the stagehands told me that it may have just been tossed out in the trash, but he seemed very frazzled by any questions, and I figured it was best not to draw any unwanted attention to myself. And the other diva was making an ass of himself, so he seemed to have his hands full.
You know, I heard a couple people mention that it might have been thrown out. We probably should actually check that next time we get a chance.
Yeah. Agreed.
It might just be, that obvious, and just somebody just tossed it, not knowing what it was.
I concur.
So what would you like to do next? Anything else at the library? It's still early in the day.
Where else can we look, though?
Yeah.
That's the other question.
What have you guys found, I mean, I know I've only been gone for a spell.
Not much that can help us.
I feel like
You guys want to go to lunch or something?
Sure.
It's hard to find, but there are a couple of Italian restaurants.
Really?
Yeah, no Chinese. Just Italian restaurants. There's millions of them. They're everywhere. All right. So I just want to say you're sitting and you're eating your lunch. Do you guys want to do anything other than just chat?
Did we decide to have our lunch at the cafe, or are we going to a restaurant?
You tell me.
What is all planned? Like, what's all setting? What do you guys
want?
Yeah, I'm out of ideas. So
I think I'd be interested in like the street cafe kind of, some sort of rustic pizza or.
You find a nice little cafe where you can sit outside and there's people sitting there reading the newspaper and just kicking back and sipping coffee, having some espresso, and there still seems to be that sort of gloom on everybody, and you do hear a few people talking about, I got tickets for the opera last night, but without Caterina Cavallaro, you might as well go anyway. Maybe she'll show up at the last minute.
We should find it for the people of Italy. All right.
Can you tell me if there's anything you want to do, or
that would be funny if Eldritch becomes the hero of Italy for saving the opera.
Just a statue of him looking as seldom as possible.
With the captain saying, "I'm a people person."
Well, one of my questions is, I don't think we've gotten any backstory on why or how the statue ended up in France or in Milan. So I don't know if that's really important. I'm just saying. I'm just curious about it.
Yeah, that and the fact that we've literally found no clues
Right.
as to the diva. I mean, I just we've gone to her house, we've gone to the opera. Those are the only two locations that we know of, and no one really knows all that about her. Everyone's like, oh, she's always at the opera or she's always at the house, and she's at neither place. So I don't know. Maybe
I did have one good thought where, because apparently Alfa Romeros are just not. A lot of people don't have them. Like apparently only the rich have them. Is that correct?
Yes, but they are manufactured here in Milan.
Right. But I'm wondering if it's like that rare of a car that if we went to the dealership or something like that, like, oh yeah, we sold 5 of them in the last 2 years.
Well, they didn't really have dealerships yet, but you could order one. No, they're actually shipped all over the world. It's a pretty famous car. At least it's it's like a Ford, but this is Europe, so.
Mm-hmm. I just got the sense that everybody we talk to keeps telling us, oh, well, we could never afford that. So like.
Well, most of the people you've talked to are just common.
Okay.
They're blue collar workers.
Okay. All right.
Maybe the no, not the neighbors. I was just thinking like maybe we could just walk around in the upper neighborhood and just look around. If we saw an Alfa Romero, I mean how. And Jeff brings up a good point. In Milan, what's the wealthy to poor ratio here? Is it like 30 to 70? Is it 2 to 98? What are we talking here?
Well, you are in the big city. This is Milan. So you're going to find a lot of upper class and a lot of middle class. Not so many poor, but there are beggars. There are homeless, just like there are anywhere else. You'd have to get farther out of town to find people who are really poor, that couldn't afford to live actually in the city.
What about the wealthy who could afford this car? Like the extremely wealthy.
Well, the extremely wealthy are going to live like Caterina Cavallaro did in beautiful mansions up in the hills and in palazzas. And there's lots of people, though, that live in the city, and it's very common in these sort of cities that they're multiple stories, maybe 3 or 4 stories high, and they're packed in there. People don't really have a lot of privacy, but they're living in the city, so everybody sits outside at night and enjoys, cappuccino and chit-chats with their neighbors, and it's very, very social. There's lots of fountains and lots of things that people just sit around all night long because they don't have living rooms. They just have a place where they sleep and a place where they cook and eat. Let's see. Dr. Theo, go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Nope, that's an 84.
All right, Eldridge, do the spot hidden for me.
Okay, I can give you a spot hidden. No problemo, boss.
All the pretty Italian women.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
I got a 43. My spot hidden is a 65. I'm good.
Okay. As you guys are sitting there and you guys are discussing Alfa Romeros, there is a newspaper, today's newspaper, sitting on a chair nearby. And just as you sort of glance over there, you can see the words Alfa Romero.
I motherfucking pick up that newspaper like it's the Bible.
Okay. You find this.
It's funny. I was just going to say, I wonder if there's like during that time period, if there's like a TMZ, some sort of celebrity gossip newspaper or something.
They love talking about their celebrities, I'm sure.
There's a fucking people just like on the table next to us.
I mean, paparazzi originated, right, in the town?
Eldridge, go ahead.
Alrighty. Automobile worker murdered. The body of automobile worker Enzio Spinola was discovered today in a laneway off Via Tiziano. I'm sorry, all Italians watching, in Portello, not far from the Alfa Romeo factory where he worked. Spinola had been stabbed to death. Plot thickens. Police are pursuing inquiries among workers in the area. Spinola was an active unionist. Spinola was an active unionist and is reported to have been arguing about union matters with other workers in recent days. So maybe we should go to the Alfa Romeo.
Frank, also do a spot hidden.
37, I think that's a pass. Yep, 65.
Okay. As he's reading that and holding it up and reading it to you guys, you're looking at the back page, and you see something about Aida. Okay. So you snatch the paper, or you ask for the paper. You probably asked for it.
You don't want to make Eldritch mad. He's like the Hulk.
And this is what you read. Go ahead.
A welcome return. Flavio Conti was a welcome face at last night's party for patrons and supporters of La Scala. Mr. Conti has been unwell in recent months with some erroneous reports that he was afflicted with tuberculosis. It was clearly a much less serious complaint. Mr. Conti has made a complete recovery and was the life of the party. Also present were fellow opera patrons, Mr. Nunzio Tocci, Mr. and Mrs. Matteo Sorrenti, Miss Angela Susco, Mr. Arturo Faccia,
yeah,
and Miss Serena Spagnola. The company was entertained by selections from this week's opera, Aida, as performed by members of the cast. Rosario Sorbello accompanied on the piano. It was a most glittering occasion.
Tuberculosis.
Now, who was that again? Oh, sorry, I can pull it up.
Sorry.
Conti.
Right. That's the name. Well, let me just pull it up again. There you go. Flavio Conti.
Why have I heard Conti before? But the fact that he had tuberculosis, he's associated with La Scala and the play, makes me wonder maybe he has the torso.
Wait. Who is Conti, though? Last night's party for patrons and supporters. So maybe he's just like a rich guy that's supporting the company.
A rich guy who can afford
Right.
An Alfa Romeo. I think we found our guy.
Or at least we found an area that we can question beyond the stagehand of the opera.
Yeah. You mean, like I said, tuberculosis? I mean...
Yeah.
So I think that we should definitely check this guy out.
Guys, read your notes. All right.
Did we read our notes?
No, I'm just. You guys write down the name so that I don't have to keep flashing it up on the screen.
Sorry.
His name is Conti, which I know I've heard before. I know I've heard that name before. I don't know where, but I know I've heard it. So, all right. What do you guys want to do?
Well, let's go.
Let's go visit Conti.
Conti.
How are you going to find him?
I don't
The
know.
Yellow Pages. No.
Do they have the yellow pages?
They probably have some sort of a listing.
Yeah, they have to.
Not everybody has phones yet, but
We could
No.
head back to the porter that Vigo made friends with. He knew where Katiana stayed.
Yeah, that's true. But he may not know, so maybe we should just go back to La Scala. Maybe the bouncers know. Maybe someone there, can just give us a general location, like, oh, he's in this building.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's extremely wealthy, maybe he's in the city, not in the hills.
Mm-hmm. He probably lives right next to her.
He's the neighbor.
Yeah.
okay. So what's your plan? You going to go back to La Scala?
I think the portal is not a bad idea. I don't want to be too. I don't want to overplay my hand at La Scala. I don't want too much exposure, and the portal would know where the house was. He knew where Diva's house was. He would most likely know because this is the only train station in town, and he's experienced, so he's probably had to carry the bags to this guy's place. I think that's probably the better option in order to ensure that I don't draw too much attention to myself, unwanted attention to myself at the opera house.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we keep going back to that well, they're going to get more and more. Mark was going to have to do his job.
Right.
Yeah.
And the train station's at least a public place. So I motion that we go in that direction.
I wonder too if we're at the cafe, if the local barista would recognize any of these other names that are mentioned in the article.
Oh, I can still only call. Well, we can ask.
Because we know. Do we know Nunzio Tochi? No, we don't know him, do we? I thought he was. No. Yeah, I don't recognize any of those other names.
All right. Well, I will take the newspaper if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Are we at the same cafe we were at the other night?
I don't think so.
Okay, what, a different cafe? All right, I find the one of the baristas,
Okay.
and I go, what was that? What did you call that thing, Tom? That the actor who doesn't speak.
Oh, a supernumerary?
Okay, and I say, oh, my name is Ansel Vigo. I am recently come back to Orfeo, Italy, and I've just been cast in the opera as a supernumerary. And I was wondering who these people are, now that I have a sudden interest in the opera. And I'll point the names on the paper.
She looks at you kind of oddly, and she's like, well, congratulations for getting a non-speaking role in the opera.
Well, you
but
have to start somewhere, right? I hope.
She says, if you have a voice, but she says, I don't know who these people are. It says they're patrons of the opera, so they're obviously people who contribute a lot of money to the opera.
But not like household names.
She says there's probably 100 people who are patrons of the opera. She says, I have no idea.
Okay.
She says,
That's all I need to
just
know.
don't know all 500,000 people that live here.
Oh, I understand.
She says they're probably rich.
Most likely.
Well, actually, they would be rich if they can afford to give money to the opera. Then they've got money.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you for your time.
She
And
says
then
you could
I
probably.
think back.
She says you could probably find out in the yellow pages. I mean, the white pages. Yeah. I'll give you that. There's probably a listing.
Okay. All right. Where would that listing be located? At the library? At the train station?
We'll say it's over by the payphone.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back to the guy who said he used the line that he's in the opera to pick up on goals, and I think back, that's why he doesn't say what fault he has. And I go over and I take the newspaper and I take a pen and I start going through the white pages and writing down addresses.
Okay. There's only one for. I know there's only one address in the entire book.
Oh wow, this made it really easy.
No,
I thought he had paper cuts.
You find Conti's address, and it's not too far. It's in the hills also, but it's I'm sorry, it's not in the hills. It's an apartment, not too far actually from where you're staying.
Okay.
It's not in the Galleria, but it's not too far from where you're staying.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we seem to have a lot of disparate pieces, and I don't want to start sounding paranoid, but I can't help but think that somehow this is all connected. The diva's disappearance, this torso, Aldridge's arm, and what's more, we seem to be not enthralled, at least tangentially aware of the class divide going on in Italy at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
We have a unionist automobile manufacturer stabbed to death, making the same type of vehicle that was used to potentially kidnap the diva who's gone missing. I can't help but think that I don't know how these pieces fit together, but I do think I'm looking at a puzzle. And I can't quite. I think the class aspect is something that we're overlooking in our exuberance to find where this torso is, where the artifact is, or where the diva is. And I don't think those two are mutually exclusive.
All good points.
Here's a quick question, and I need to go back. That scroll that we got. It only spoke about one part of the statue, correct?
Correct, the head.
The head. Okay. I wanted to see if it says something about like sacrificing in order to empower the piece.
What the translation of the scroll said was that Sedevkar had a prophecy that he was going to lose the simulacrum. And so he created the scrolls. The head scroll that he created dealt with, and I forget the details, but each one dealt with a different aspect of the simulacrum. And he mentioned that in one of the other scrolls, it does mention how to activate it, how to use it. And yeah, I mean, there were pictures of human sacrifice.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was trying to remember.
you also kind of surmised that the whole thing was inked in blood, if you recall.
Yeah.
On human skin.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that what might have happened here is the don't tell me okay. Yeah, I'm cutting in and out. Sorry about that. I'm thinking that she might have just been kidnapped by one of these cult members, and they're planning to sacrifice her, if not already have sacrificed her. She might have recognized the car. Don't tell me I cut out. Yeah, she might have recognized the car, and that's the reason why she got in. So I don't know. I'm just sort of just speaking off the top of my mind right now.
Well, from what you were told, she did seem to recognize the person in the car.
Yeah.
So I don't know, you're suggesting she might have some tie to the scrolls or to the...
No, I'm thinking that the guy was murdered, and whoever took her might have disguised himself as this man. She might have thought that she'd known him, got into the car, and then realized that, hey, this is not my friend. who are you? And then the guy probably kidnapped her in order to perform some sort of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just jumping to a conclusion. Sorry.
So what do you do next? Where do you go?
I have another cappuccino to stall.
I actually do have a quick question for you, especially looks like Jim needs. Or did you already go, Jim?
I already took care of it.
Oh, okay. I was just saying we can go a little later if you guys want to. It just depends on you.
I've got a family thing happening at 8.
Okay. So, anyways, what's your next move?
I guess the obvious is that we have this new lead for Fabio Conti.
Okay.
We should go check him out. I think that because he's the only one who has to have the torso, you know.
But on the other hand, it says that he was suffering from this tuberculosis, but then he seemed to miraculously heal. So he was dancing around. So maybe he got rid of it recently.
But maybe he knows where it is. Maybe he knows who took it.
True. So
And maybe we can merge the two ideas. Maybe the cult knew he had it and offered to pay for it or something like that, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and he gave it to him. Which means that now we have to get it back.
Yeah. I wonder if we could. Do we have a story? Like, what? Can't just knock on his door and say, "Hi, do you have the mannequin?"
Well, he's living in an apartment, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's first see if he has the call, right? Let's talk to some of the locals in the building and find out if he has that type of vehicle, because he may clue us into other facets of our mystery.
Mm-hmm. That's a good idea.
So maybe we do some what's the word in reconnaissance before we introduce ourselves.
No, that's a good idea. Like we talk to the neighbors and we just see, who he is and what he's like, because if he's a complete asshole, that's completely different than if he's a nice guy and he'll let us in if we say, "Hey, we're plumbers. We're Italian plumbers. It's Mario and Luigi."
I find that stereotype to be immensely offensive.
So that's a good idea. So maybe we should just talk to the neighbors and then go see him.
Okay. So just tell me what you're going to do and tell me how you're going to prepare.
All right. I say, what time is it? Because I still want to get to the theater. So what time is it now, Tom?
That's tomorrow night. Is your show?
Oh, it's tomorrow night. Wonderful. We have plenty of time.
What's our story?
I'd say it's probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon at this point.
Okay.
So you've got about a little less than 2 hours before the sun goes down. It is winter.
Okay. What's our story going to be when we arrive? We can't just say, "Hey, we're investigating this guy." Frank already brought that up. We have to have something to tell the neighbors.
Well, I don't necessarily want to talk to the neighbors so much as I want to talk to the help. I think the neighbors, if they're living in this apartment, probably are in his same social status and will have more burials. Let's first talk to the people who have to serve him lunch and dinner and wait on him hand and foot and have to clean his room, and we can find out from them if they've noticed anything unusual, because they said the torso was creepy, right? So if he was holding it in his room, the maid is bound to remember a creepy torso there. As opposed to asking the neighbors, and that may raise more suspicions. Always walk from the bottom up.
Okay. Yeah, let's go with that plan. I'll let you take point then.
All right. Then I would like to head over to that apartment address that we have, and do they have like a someone waiting at the door?
Well, are you just going to go straight over there?
Yeah, I wasn't. Unless anyone else had something they wanted to do beforehand.
And no, nothing I can think of.
No, I don't think of anything.
How's everybody dressed right now?
Suits. Yeah, regular clothes.
Yeah, I don't have a jacket on, but I've got my buttoned-up short sleeves rolled up.
Remember, it is chilly, so.
Yeah, I'm in a suit and essentially like a brown trench coat, brown leather trench coat to kind of keep me warm.
Okay.
I think Cthulhu owns us.
All right, so you're going to head over there.
I want you.
Now that you, go ahead.
Well, I want. Does this apartment have a valet?
It's not quite what you think.
Okay.
They're apartments because they're all sort of attached to one another.
Okay.
They're more like townhouses.
All right.
You know, the guy's not poor; he's rich, so you know it's probably got multiple stories on it, and it's all his. But what I need to say now is, you guys have arrived, or you're pulling up there, and are any of you armed?
Only with my winning smile.
I do have my cane that I walk with.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my.
Wait, hold on. Your cane, isn't that Matilda?
No, I brought one as well when I was in London.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my pocket knife, but it's just a multi-tool. I mean, it can be made into a weapon, but it's just a multi-tool.
Right. Okay. And Jeff?
I'm trying to think. I do have a 38, but I'm trying to think if I would have brought it with me. I would have.
Traveling around all day at the opera, probably.
Probably not. I do have a small pocket knife, though.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to clarify that because I was trying to give you, standing here like this, and I was trying to give you hints. Is there anything else you want to do? But, okay. As you approach the apartment, you can see that there is an Alfa Romero parked right next to it. And it looks like a townhouse. It is attached on the sides to other buildings, but it's owned by a wealthy person.
In the immortal words of Richard. Aha!
Aha! Yeah. You also notice something else. The upstairs windows are all wide open, and which is weird because it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's actually even a little breeze, and the curtains are wafting in the breeze.
That could be a tuberculosis thing.
Yeah.
I remember reading that's like they would often have the patients sit out on the cold porch.
All right. So what's your move?
Okay, so those. So you're right. It wasn't what I was envisioning. Is there a way to scale the building through the window?
No, there's actually a little yard all the way around it with a brick wall and a wrought iron on the top of it with spikes, you know.
All right.
Just decorative.
I'm gonna first go by the call and give a low whistle and take a look at the call. And may I do a spot hidden to see if I can see anything unusual in there, like a woman's pulse, a giant torso?
Sure. Sure.
But I'm trying to make it look like I'm really taking in this call, like, woo.
That's kind of why I was asking about how we were dressed, because I assume we're in an upscale neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess we're kind of dressed upscale, right?
Yeah. You guys have money.
Okay.
Yeah, we look professional, if nothing else.
Yeah, okay, that's a good word.
Tom, I got 15 out of 45 on that spot hidden.
Nice. Yeah, you don't see anything. You're just really sure that you don't see anything.
No, nothing in
However, that was a
I'm
good roll.
about
That was a good roll. So what I'll give you
All right.
is, you look at the car, you don't see anything, and as you sort of turn around toward the other guys, you can see somebody peek out the window at you.
In the call or the house?
In the house. Looks like it might be a butler or something like that peeks out the window.
Is it the open window or like a closed window on the full floor?
It's from the it's an open window, and they're sort of obscured by the curtains, but you can see them sort of look out to see if you're gonna fuck with their car.
Buongiorno! I was just amazed at this great Italian craftsmanship. This is a beauty. This must have cost a fortune.
Well, my response to that would be, and the person's gone.
Can't wheel them in all the time.
Riff-raff.
So how would you guys like to proceed? Because we tried the subtle approach.
Perhaps it's time to take the obvious approach. Maybe knock on the front door.
Well, I will allow you to take point, and I will translate your wounds.
Okay. So I go to the front door and I, give 3 knocks.
Okay. After just a couple seconds, the door opens, and a man who's very obviously a butler is standing there, and he gives you the up and down. He gives you the and he's like, yes. See.
So I say, trying to think. So it's evening, like it's 5.
Yeah, there's still some light out. I mean, it's not dark yet.
Okay. Good evening, sir. We were here to possibly ask if you knew the location of the diva, as you know she's missing, and we've been tasked with investigating her disappearance.
And he looks at you very strangely, and he's like, nobody knows where the diva is, or she would be back at the opera. And he says, if there's nothing else, please go away.
So, I kind of put my foot in the door, so to speak. When I say, would it be possible to speak with your master, good sir? And I'm going to do a perception, or not perception, persuade.
All right, do a persuade.
Come on.
Persuasion.
25 out of 50.
All right. Well, you got to come up with a little bit something more than sticking your foot in the door and saying, "I want to speak to your master," to persuade me.
All right. You see, according to some sources that we've talked to, they saw an Alfa Romero pull into the train station, and she entered. Your master, he's very generous with Lascara, with the opera house, and we were thinking that perhaps maybe he knew her last location, maybe who she left with. But if you don't think that he would know anything, we can certainly be on our way. And I give a small half smile, and I pull my foot out of the door, so that way he can close it if he wants.
Well, he says, "Please step inside." And
okay.
Once you step inside, you're in the little foyer area, and I mean it's an Italian house. It's got a lot of marble and stuff in it, and he just says, "Stay here," or he says, "Wait here a moment," And he goes, and you see him go up the stairs. And after a few moments, you see him come back down. His expression doesn't change. He's,
Much like me.
he comes down, and as he gets to the bottom of the stairs and starts heading towards you, you see up at the top of the stairs, kind of from where he came the hallway, you see a little face peek out there. An older gentleman sort of looks out to see who the hell you are. And he says, Mr. Conti, we'll see you in a few moments.
Of course.
Please follow me. And as soon as he turns, you see the old guy just disappear. He's gone. Okay.
So he's an eccentric. Can I do a psychology roll to see if he's eccentric, like a recluse?
You haven't seen enough of him, but
Go
go ahead and do a psychology, and I'll tell you something.
Okay. Oof. No.
Okay.
83. No.
Okay.
I'll do a psychology
anyways-
roll when I meet him.
So, anyways, you follow the guy up the stairs, and you get to a door, and you do notice that it's kind of chilly inside the house, and the breeze is blowing through it, and you notice the butler wince a few times as he walks right by a window because it's chilly. But he comes to a door and he knocks, and opens the door. And Mr. Conti, these people are here to see you. And you step inside. Now there's a big desk, and Mr. Conti is the old man that you saw, and he's sitting behind the desk, dressed in a business suit, a nice business suit, probably Armani. I don't know what they dressed in back then, but he as you walk in, he sort of stands up, to be polite, and he says in Italian, he says, "Yes, gentlemen, what is this about?"
Buonasera, Mr. Conti. My name is Eldridge Volkov. These are my associates. We're investigators from America. Do you mind if we sit?
He's like, "Yes, please sit."
Okay.
And he says, "What sort of investigators?"
We're just familiar with the ins and outs of finding people, finding things. And I flip open my notepad that I always bring on the Arkham Society cases. I pull out my fountain pen, and I'm sitting. I'm guessing they're like red leather chairs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm
Yes.
trying to sit as proper as possible, and I'm looking at him as I write down, his name and what he looks like and where we are. And I give a smile and I say, "Don't worry, we're investigating the possible disappearance of the diva."
Okay.
Katarina.
What's
Yeah,
that?
Catalina.
Katarina.
Catalina.
Catherine. Katarina.
Catalina Catalaro.
Go ahead and do a spot hidden. Actually, you can all do a spot hidden.
39 I passed.
While these guys are talking, I'm trying to check out the decor.
Oh, I got a 2. Nice.
I am so busy translating Mr. Volkov's wounds that I'm oblivious to anything.
Yep, I passed 18.
Okay. Well, Wayne got the best score, I guess. So, Dr. Theo, there's something that you notice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On second glance, although Mr. what was his name? Mr. Conti.
Conti.
is wearing a very nice suit jacket and everything. You can see he probably put it on quickly because his shirt buttons, he's wearing a white shirt, but his shirt buttons are undone, kind of the way mine are.
Okay.
And you notice on his chest, right here that's showing, there's definite scars. Okay, like 2 parallel scars going down into his shirt. That's what you notice. Okay. Who else passed?
Me and Jeff.
Mm-hmm. You both notice that he seems kind of nervous. Okay.
Was this the same face that we saw peek around?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He seems just a little nervous to you. Now, he seems also like a frail old man. And you could imagine a frail old man getting tuberculosis, which wouldn't be that unusual. But he is acting rather healthy for, it said that he was the life of the party and that he seems to have completely recovered.
Could I do a psychology roll now?
Well, I don't think that you really need a psychology roll in this case. When you say that you're investigating, you said that right? That you're investigating.
Yeah, I said that we're investigating the disappearance of Kathleen Cartolaro, the diva.
He responds just a little too strongly and just a little too quickly. Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
He says it's a terrible thing that she's disappeared, but I don't know anything about that.
And I give a light smile, and I say, now, they said it was in Alfa Romero and that she got into it with a friendly face. This means that she possibly knew the person who picked her up. Of course, you happen to have an Alfa Romero. We saw it as we approached. Did you?
He now gets sort of a slightly angry look, and he's like, a lot of people have Alfa Romeros. It's the most popular car in the world.
And
I did that a little too over the top, but
yeah,
he's more nervous than he is angry.
Yeah,
it's like a lot of people have Alfa Romeros. Don't be ridiculous.
And I smile because I can see he's nervous, and I kind of hold up the hand with the pen, and I say, it's fine. You're not a suspect. I want you to know that.
Okay. I've got to ask. Okay.
Go ahead.
He's behind his desk, and you guys are sitting in 4 chairs in front. And we'll assume that originally there were 2 chairs in front, and 2 of you pulled up other chairs. So there's 4 of you, and you're in a line.
What's the line?
I want to know, from left to right.
I've been in enough dungeons to know what's going to happen next.
I will be on the chair next to Volkov. Wherever he decides to sit, since I'm the one translating.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and sit dead center. I'll say middle left. How about that?
So
middle left.
You and Vigo are sitting in the center.
Yes.
And
I'm gonna be sitting all the way to the right.
So then, Jeff, you're all the way to the left. Yes.
To his left, or as we're facing.
Whatever. Just the opposite.
Yeah, I'll just be on the opposite side. Yep.
Okay. Dr. Theo, go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Oh,
do a dex roll.
Oh, thank you
did
for
so many dex rolls last night in that game.
I got a 5.
You got a 5.
Ooh, there we go.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me a 5, Jeff.
I need to send you.
Gods.
I need to send you a private message.
Okay, that's hopefully.
How do I do it? Jeff?
/TO space
space
And
W.
then you can just type in WA, and that'll be enough. You don't have to type the whole thing.
Okay, if this shows up for everybody, okay, you all see it. But
No metagaming. We won't metagame.
You can do a test message first if you want.
okay,
Yeah,
I'm
do
gonna
a
do a
test.
test.
Do a test. We've only got 5 more minutes, so
Like I said, you can go a little farther if you want, but
no, it's okay. He's got family stuff. It's gonna be a good cliffhanger. It's gonna be a good cliffhanger.
Yeah, I got it. Hold on.
okay, let's try it again. How did I do it again? It was /2.
Slash
I don't know
T.
why I can't remember this. You've told me like 10 times.
No, don't freeze on me. No.
No, we're just being quiet. Wayne, make a noise so that we can gauge reaction.
If it's really bad, slap the table.
If it's really bad, go, oh no!
Blimey!
Oh, you got me.
There you go, Wayne.
All right.
Right.
You
Give
may
us noise.
react. You may react however you want, but you like can't turn and whisper to anybody because you're 3 feet away from him. And he's like, gentlemen, I just don't know anything about this.
Sir, I would suggest you remain calm. Nobody needs to get hurt here.
And I turn because I'm the investigator. I'm the investigative one of the group, and this is highly uncalled for, Mr. Biologist. And I kind of like doctor, and I look over, and I'm kind of like startled because this is complete breach of protocol.
I'm like, sir, I would advise you to take your hand off your gun and put it on a desk.
I didn't say he had his hand on it.
Well, I'm gonna say that say that out loud.
You said that out loud. He grabs the gun and points it at you. Okay.
Well, lean back in my seat, hold my hands.
He's like, "Who are you?"
Yes, us as a group or just him?
Just asking all of you. Who are you?
Investigators from
We
America.
are-
sir.
Like my companion has said, we are investigators. We are looking into the disappearance of Catalina.
He's like,
And-
I told you I don't have anything to do with that
So why are you pointing your gun at us?
because I don't know who you are.
Okay, but I don't know who you are either. I haven't pulled out a gun on you. And I just simply asked you to remain calm. We're not here to hurt you.
My Italian brother. We were traveling by train. My friends here met the diva, became friends with her.
Okay. When you said you were traveling by train, he gets even more, and he's like, he doesn't know what to do at this point, and he's nervous, and his gun is shaking, and I'm going to go ahead and make a roll. See what
Okay.
happens.
Oh no! Oh god!
Hit the floor.
Oh no.
Oh god, no! Oh no! What's gonna happen?
To be continued.
Wayne,
Yep.
I need you to do a luck roll.
Okay.
Okay, we're good. We're 100%. We're good. We're good.
No, we're not good. 76 out of 45.
Okay. Who's sitting next to you, Wayne?
It would be Vigo.
I'm sitting next to Wayne and Aldridge.
Well, I just want, if you're next to Wayne. All right, I need you to do a luck roll, too.
All right. Let's see. What is my luck?
70.
I don't even see it on the character sheet.
It's
Just
at the bottom.
Just below the big giant Call of Cthulhu.
You've got a thing with a bunch of numbers. It's on your screen.
Oh,
actually.
okay. Yes, I have 70.
Yeah.
This guy's right.
77.
Ooh.
I'm going to invoke luck rule if you want. You can spend. I'll let you spend 7 luck to make the roll, but it means that you're going to have 7 less luck from now on.
Yeah, I can't make it because my luck is at 45 and I rolled a 76.
If you want to, you don't have to. Spend
Oh,
your
James,
luck.
do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Do it.
It means that you'll only have 63 luck from now on.
All right, I'll spend it.
All right.
63 is circled on my character sheet.
I rolled a 99.
Okay.
So he's very upset. He's nervous. He's pointing the gun, and he says, "I advise you to get the hell out of my place." And he does this with the gun and lets it go, and it lands right in your face. I mean, it lands right in your hands.
Oh.
I take the gun and I point it at him.
No, don't put it at him.
Okay. Well,
Oh, no.
he's suddenly like this, and he grabs the letter opener that's on his desk, and he's like, "Give me that back!" And he starts lunging at you across the desk.
I will actually draw my my sword out of the cane
Okay.
and point it up to his neck, and I say, up.
Well, I want to know what Vigo, who's got the gun in his hand, and this guy's lunging at him.
How far away? Isn't there a desk between the two of us?
Yeah, but he almost looks like he's going to jump or try to get over the desk. And anyways, the feeling is that he's lunging towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Do a dodge, man. Do a dodge.
I cock the gun.
Okay, well, he suddenly stops and drops the. You say you pull your sword.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just stunned. Okay.
As I was saying, we are friends of the diva. We are very concerned for her welfare, and we believe you to be involved in the matter.
He's like, I had to do it. I had to.
Do what?
I had to deliver her, and he's like looking around for a way to get the hell out. Okay, and you almost get the feeling like he's going to turn around and jump out the fucking window.
I'll stand up and I'll just quickly say, everybody just calm down.
Yeah, I stand up and I can I reach over and just like put my hand on the pistol and just lower it so that we've got the sword still and it's cocked, but let's just push it out of the way just a little bit.
I can't see. It's dark.
Do you want me to roll something? No?
Yeah, Eldritch, roll a luck roll.
Okay. My luck is at 45. Oh, elder gods.
So you got it?
A 50. I got a 50.
Well,
I got a 50.
he is going to. You see him. Let's say this is all like in slow motion. He turns to jump out the window. Okay. So I don't think any of you can grab him. He's going to jump. Now
Well,
you're on the second floor. So it's
We
not
should
that
be able to at least have it. Each and every one of us have a chance to try to grab him.
except that he's on the other side of the desk.
Yeah, but it's 2 stories. He may survive. He may survive. No, I'm being serious.
Can I try something then?
I'll tell you what.
You know?
Wayne, you're close enough to where you could try to grab him.
Okay.
It's a grapple roll.
It's a grapple roll.
Yeah.
All right, because I can either do that or try to push the desk in front of him to trip him up, which will be.
The desk is between you and him.
All right. So yeah, I'll try to grapple him.
The window I take is like behind him, I guess. Like closer to him.
And
Yes,
I,
yes.
and I rolled an 18.
Ooh.
Okay, you grab a hold of his jacket, and as he starts to go out the window, you pull him right back in. And he falls to the floor. And at this point, he's shaking all over, and he's quite terrified. What do you guys do?
All right, so now we get to question him. Where did you take her? Who told you to pick her up? Tell us what we want to know.
And his response is, he'll kill me. I can't tell you.
I'd like to move to the door and close the door just in case.
Okay, the door was closed.
Okay, just double checking.
We can protect you if you just tell us.
You can't protect me. That's crazy.
Okay. Can I attempt a persuade?
Yeah, you can attempt it.
All right, I'm gonna attempt it. All right. Conte, we've made it this far dealing with these people. We found you. We've found possibly what you had, alluding to the torso. And we know about them as well. All right? And we're but 4 men. All right? We can protect you, but all we need is a name. There will be no mention of you. You give us a name, you give us what we need, and we'll just leave. You'll never hear from us again. You'll never see us again.
He says, well, now, he gasps this out, but he says, it wasn't my fault that they used him in that way, but I can't go against Vaccia.
Okay, we got a name, Vaccia. Okay, and I say, why can't you? Is he?
Now,
how dangerous is he?
at this point, the shirt's open, and you can see that he's got scars going down almost to his belly button. He says, what did you say? How dangerous is he?
How dangerous are we talking here? Like mob boss or Eldritch Abomination style?
He says, how? What are you talking about? He says, how dangerous do you think he is with what he can do?
Why don't you tell me what can he do? Yeah, what can he do? What have you seen him do?
He starts. What's that?
Did he give you those skulls?
He holds his chest and he says, "Of course he did."
Are they
And
fresh?
What's that?
Are they fresh? Like
They're. They don't look like they're fresh, but I mean, they're maybe a little redder than. They're not. They don't look old.
Do they look infected?
No, not at all. Quite well healed, but he says, I can't tell you anymore. He says, he'll know.
And I look at the others.
All of a sudden, okay, you're looking into his face, and all of a sudden he's got this strange look on his face, like, almost like he's, I don't know how you describe it. It's
He's
almost
changed.
like he's got sweat on his forehead, and he's turning red, and he starts going like this. So, and he's starting to grab his chest.
Oh, okay. First aid roll.
Yep.
All right, I got a 60. Let's see. 40. All right. What's going on? Heart attack?
Looks like it's probably a heart attack.
All right. Let's do some CPR. Let's get this guy going. Someone call 911.
I don't think that they'd invented CPR yet in the 1920s.
No, they haven't.
God damn it. All right, someone call 911 while I pump on his chest and invent CPR.
They'll answer your phone call back in the United States and say, we're sending somebody immediately. They'll be there in
all right, dial like 888 or whatever.
It's time we left.
He gets this very strange, concerned look, and he's like, this is not possible. It's not possible. How can a brother of the skin die? And he starts shaking and he expires. And that's where we'll leave it.
Motherfucker, what?
I spent 7 points to get a handgun. That's awesome.
So, thank you guys for participating. Thanks for everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed our session. If you liked our show, please give us a thumbs up. Every little bit helps. Please tune in next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the next episode of Horror on the Orient Express. Until next time, always remember, if there's no light left to guide your path, your only choice is to venture into the darkness. Good night, and good gaming.